Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the PUBG Mobile South Asia Pro Scrims 2021, brought to you by Nodwin Gaming. Of course, I'm joined along with Necro as we head on into week number 2, where we do witness these teams, going against each other. And today we have got three maps of course, Sanhok action coming in. First one will be between teams from Group A and B. So heading on directly talking about the team. So do you think Nepali and the Bangladeshi teams can make a comeback today?
Well, I mean, what we witnessed on the day two, I mean, what Redditzer did in the last game was just absolutely incredible against NFP 1v4 to clutch out the situation and get the chicken dinner in his hand. That was just
Yeah,
absolutely incredible. But even now, if we were talking about 1v4, even Machine did a 1v4 against Deadeyes, and we did
right.
not expect those kind of small mistakes coming from a team like Deadeyes, of course. But again, now focusing on a team like Blood Legions, we do know they have a lot in them. Now,
Yeah,
those roster changes that are coming in from their side, and of course, we're not seeing two of their legendary players, Ryan and Gyro. I mean, Ryan and Leo, sorry,
Leo. Yeah,
Lan and Leo. Yeah, we are not seeing them in the current roster. I don't really know what's going on because I don't really think so they needed to change the roster at all because they were doing absolutely fine with these four men. Dominic, Ryan, Leo, and Gyro. These four guys were just so good overall, and I don't really feel like there was any need to change those roster, but still maybe they're just testing the waters for the upcoming events, and which does make sense if you want to overall get a real comfortable situation inside the overall event and you just want to have an upper edge, then you should be testing those waters out.
absolutely, absolutely. But right now we gotta take a look at the prize pool that we have online. All these teams competing for that sweet money, and it's gonna be $2,000. And for the first position, you've got 1,000. Moving on, second, third, and fourth, as you can see, respectively, they've got the prize pool distributed. But yeah, like you were talking about, Blood Legion, certainly one of those teams that we have to watch out for. Reason being, last time
Yeah.
around they did play with their substitutes, but I did have a talk with the lads, and they did get some new devices to play along with,
Oh,
and hopefully they'll be back today with their full four-man roster. So that is what I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, apart from that, we did see the Pakistani teams dominating as usual. Of course, the front
yeah.
runners being Team F4.
Of course. I mean, F4, yeah, it did. Now, exactly that same game where Machine actually clutched out. Now, he was left in a 1-on-4 situation against F4. And of course, it's going to be such a hard task to do because you are going up against a 1-on-4 against a team like Deadeyes. And then you have to face a team like F4 back to back. Then that's not going to be possible because both of the teams are some top level teams. And that's not going to be easy to take like 1v8 situation down that easily.
I mean, yeah, we've seen those clutches, but
Yeah.
these are the clutches which we see once in a good bright moon. So,
Yeah.
I would want to see more of them. But before that, we need to know how are these teams going to earn those points. So let's let's take a look at the point structure that we have lined up for you guys and see how are these teams, garnering those points.
Exactly. And now it's just basically pretty same point structures that we are seeing even from the PMCO and now over here as well in the pro scrims. Now 15 placement points, of course, for the first person, which is going to be getting that chicken dinner. But now overall, I really want to focus more about these roster changes coming up because this is really gathering my attention. Now, a player like Hungry Box, which was a former teammates of Team Vibe, and now he is joining Deadeyes. This is a
Yeah,
big news right here. And then again,
right.
Carnage is also making some changes. They signed Malik, which was again a former teammate of Vibes, and he is joining Carnage now. We all do know how Carnage was doing in those Nepali PMCOs, and especially if you're going to be having again a player like Malik in your roster, then I don't really know because Malik was one of the most consistent fraggers that Vibes has to offer, and if they're going to be signing a player like that, then they have a massive deal that they are packing with them.
Yeah, they certainly are. Right now, if you're talking about Malik, we did see, how beautifully he played. But of course, Team Vibes could not qualify. But there you go, the Group A, as we can see, some big names. Venom Legends have been falling short of getting those
Yeah.
beautiful kills. They're kind of known for their aggression, but really haven't been there in the zone. But Blood Legion, this is the day where they start redeeming themselves. P and Crew, however, did play really well on the last day when we had the map of Miramar.
Exactly. Yeah, they did. They did absolutely good. Now PN Crew again. I mean, just doing good in that one particular map is not really going to be going in your favor. And we did
Exactly.
see those roster changes coming in. Of course, they did sign Killer YT, and I really feel like somewhere down the line they are struggling to get the synergization working in their favor. And I really feel like they do need to spend more time playing with Killer YT. Just the way he was playing, I don't really feel like Killer YT. We have seen this man the way he plays with PN Crew. Now we did see Killer YT playing with Team Cops, and just the way he was playing, he was more kind of like a solo fragger for them. Now he was separating from the team and doing whatever he wants, and he was actually gathering those frags for himself. But at the same time, he also did know when to back off to his teammates.
All right.
But with when he's playing with PN Crew, I really feel like he's just sticking together with his team. So it's basically not something that we expect Killer YT to do.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Killer Whitey, I will not really, scoff about it because the fact that it takes time, to try to build
Yeah,
up that synergy. The previous squad that he was playing for, that was Cops, he had a different role. He was
yeah,
kind of playing the role of a lurker, or you can call it a scout
yeah,
or a flanker,
yeah,
a lot of things. Now he's come into a different lineup, a lineup that has a rich past and has got the players that
yeah.
have it in them to, go forward and just win this one out. But this brings me to the conversation where we have the boys from T2K. They've got quite a star-studded roster, and they've got the likes of Jane, they've got the likes of Frankie. We know how promising these players
Yeah.
are. But apart from that, let's talk about Venom Legends. This is one of those teams that has been right in through the last PMPL. They've been playing so well, but their performance comparatively from last week to this week has been kind of shaky. So today, I hope that in a map like Sanhok, where you kind of rely on those RNG factor, I think maybe these teams are the ones that are kind of lurking around in the bottom half, might just take a leap ahead.
Exactly. RNG factor will be there, but also the game sense is going to be helping you out in those stepping forwards of success. But for now, Venom Legends, you did mention they're not really able to show up in these scrims. Maybe they are just, testing their waters. And I really feel like Venom Legends do have it in them. And I really feel like maybe at the last moment they will make a comeback.
They certainly will. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is your day number 3 schedule that we have lined up for you guys. 3 maps of Sanhok. In the first game, we have teams from groups A and B going against each other. And one more thing. The one thing that we really need to add on is the fact that how beautifully these teams have been aggressing at each other. With no
Yeah, yeah,
stones
yeah.
unturned, they just spot a squad. They go after it. We've seen a lot of third parties coming out, and
Yeah.
another team that we really need to bring into the light is Team Regicide. The way they've been playing, I think another one also would be, of course, Flex Stalwart, the kind of players that they had. But the second day was not really there
Yeah.
for them. They were kind of consistent in terms of getting those position points, but however, they could do a bit more with the kills. So, we both kind of, were left out on casting the PMC of Pakistan, as we had Nepal and Bangladesh region to cover. So
Yeah.
a lot of promising talents did step up, and of course, Rahman being Rahman, we've got to see as to how Team F4 or whether or not can they solidify their lead, or is it going to be some other team from a different region, going and getting this one out the top spot. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's quickly head into the map of Sanhok and find out for ourselves as to how this game is going to turn out.
Well, taking a look at the flight path, of course, it's going to be going from Hathen, and seems like that's going to be straight to Camp Charlie. Now, how are the teams going to be falling out? Of course, on the day two, we did see. I really want to focus on day two again. Now, day two was the day where we actually saw a lot of people going on Rampage, and we saw so many big teams crumbling down by only one players. And of course, as you mentioned, none of these players are actually backing off from early game fights as well. And that certainly, when we are going to be routing that straight inside Sanhok, we might have an action-packed game this time.
We certainly will. Considering
Yeah.
how the flight path has gone off, we do see quite some teams, just beside each other. Futurestation, Gremlin Storm, taking their plunge in the boot camp area,
Ooh.
and just before, just above them are the boys from Skylights, previously known as Abrupt Slayers. This
Yeah.
is definitely one of the fights that we need to watch out for.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, Abrupt Slayers, of course, they are just one of the best Slayers that entire South Asia has to offer, because they are the winners, right? And of course,
Yeah.
if they are the winners, then they are going to be the best of the best, and you need to watch out from a squad like that. But for now, of course, the circle was covering most of the lands, and that's definitely going to be such a good thing for all these teams. As if they're, of course, going to be one of those players where they want to actually wait it out, wait the situation out, or if you want to frag it out, then things might be a little hard. But as I'm talking about fragging, of course, it's going to be Snipe Whitey stepping it up and getting the first knock of the game.
Yeah, and there you go. That's pretty much his style. That's pretty much his persona.
Yep.
But no, there you go. He's been retaliated back. Moto gets a beautiful knock onto with him, and R3G going against Carnage. That's a bit of a kerfuffle
Yeah.
that we find ourselves into. But there you go. Blood Legion, Neo, or in fact Leo, my apologies, there is already in the engagement. He's got a quick few knocks for himself, as we see the players of Regicides finally making a push. Malik does not have that helmet, but still will
Ooh.
open up the ADS, take a few shots, will instantly back down. No, he takes a few shots down the stairs, as we can spot the players of Regicide finally trying to make a move. There you go, the spray coming out, and Nocto, before he even realizes he's been taken out of the equation, and the trade-offs are definitely there. Moto just scandering around, trying to find any loose threads over here, trying to find any loose picks. Can he get that one? Manish just closing in, Moto being the last member surviving, and with
Ooh.
that being said, Carnage with a beautiful squad wipe right from the very start.
Carnage already spreading. Carnage, what is going on? These guys are absolutely doing good. And this is exactly the Carnage that we know. And certainly they were missing on the day one and day two, but now it seems like they have stepped their gameplay up, as Malik is kind of blending inside the team, and seems like their synergization is working real good this time. And their synergy is, of course, really good, as we did see those calls coming in and even that backup coming in at the same time as soon as they needed it, and the backup was there. And this is exactly what we're seeing. Malik isn't really struggling when it comes to overall getting settled with Team Carnage.
Now, right now, what we do witness is the players of Freestyle, a three-man roster. So that's gonna spell trouble for these lads. But here we are, and Blood Legion going against God's Reborn. Both these teams, did play phenomenally. Of course, Kalin Bhaiya being one of those players who's come in as a substitute, because I'm kind
Yeah.
of missing out on Yashiro, to be honest. Rogers there, Kowa's there, Sketches there. So this is a four-man lineup that we do spot in front of us, and right behind them, we've got the boys from Blood Legion. They are also a four-man full-started roster. So they did get their knocks, but did manage to get the players back online. Now, provided the factor that are inside the circle, they need to start rotating a bit early to a rather better position, because you're down in Sami, you've got to travel all the way a bit towards the northern side. By the time you do that, teams might just already been holding off from a better angle, and that might spell trouble for you. So in Sanhok, it's quite imperative that you need to know when to make those movements and how.
Exactly. I mean, Sanhok is, of course, a map where you need to, watch out each and every single step that you're taking, because it's a small map. We all do know. And people can be anywhere in each and every single compound. It's going to be more kind of like an invitation to your death. So you need to be more cautious all the time. And, of course, watch out your step. But if you were talking about God's Reborn, the last time we did see these guys absolutely on a bloodbath. Like, these guys weren't backing off anytime soon. These guys always were just pushing each and every single team that was in their front of them, and these guys weren't backing off in the map of Miramar. Are they going to be doing the same thing? Are they going to be making the pace go the same way as it was following in Miramar?
I mean, maybe, but by the looks of it, God's Reborn, they're on a hunt right now. They want to
Yep.
get a few kills here and there. They're trying to search for the players of Blood Legion, and I believe they've sort of spotted out Ryan, and they do finally understand the fact that Blood Legion is on the run. So, and Blood Legion taking that first step outside Sami, that's a really
Yep.
good one,
Exactly.
because they kind of get the coverage of that high ground area. So that's
Hmm.
certainly gonna help their purpose. But with that being said, the first airdrop coming in, an AUG A3. It's not the best of the weapons that I like, but it is what it is.
Exactly. I mean, more kind of like the luxurious weapon, as a lot of people like to call it. But seems like the killing spree is going to be continuing, and it's going to be 7C this time, stepping their gameplay up. Now, of course, focusing on the fight going on between God's Reborn and even Blood Legion. Blood Legion, of course, showing that a little bit more brain power and taking the higher edge. But I'm going to hold on to my words because the fight is erupting. A massive fight happening between 7C and F4, as already one man has went down from F4. It's going to be destroyed, getting destroyed. And how are 7C going to be capitalizing? Of course, fear, a player that everyone needs to fear off, because this man has pulled some incredible clutches in those league stages back in the time in season 2. So is he going to be able to do that again? That's going to be a massive question, because fear is not scared of anyone, because he doesn't have any fear for anyone.
He certainly does not. But with that being said, Voltrox lobbing that beautiful grenade. Fear surviving with a sliver of HP, and now the Molotov to follow it up. Fear needs to watch out. His position has been compromised so
Oh.
bad. There has to be some other movement, some other way. But True Love, look at him going after Voltrox, getting that beautiful knock. That will be, of course, Memo from the left flank. But Khan, being the lonesome survivor, how is he going to deal with this kind of a situation? The attacks coming from two different directions. It's going to be so troublesome. Now Khan, he's got to watch out on his own. He's just spraying down, but that's not going to work out, as finally the final confirmation will be delivered by True Love, as 7C get a beautiful squad wipe.
We see a little bit of, that disrespect fire coming in from Turu Love there. You saw that when he died, when Khan
It's a
was taken down, he
message.
was shooting his dead body, saying that you are nothing in front of me. And that kind of confidence we all, of course, love, and we love those rivalries building up as well. And now seems like they are going to be having a real strong rivalry going up inside. Now, how the fight was challenged from 7C was absolutely brilliant, because they got the
Yeah.
first knockdown in, and then Fear was, of course, the man to actually push all the way onto the rock that was closest. Then he got the close angle, and then his teammates followed it up, and those frags were just coming in, and that's how the cookie crumbled. But for now, seems like PN Crew, again, one of the teams that is on that struggling phases, but did kind of decent on the previous map of Miramar. But are they going to be able to keep the pacing going on? Of course, the flow
I
is going
mean,
to be more kind of like the important factor inside this.
yeah, it certainly will be. But take a look at the minimap that we have. It's sort of heading towards maybe the barn area. Now we've got quite a few squads already, taking the center position. The primarily being the players of LoG1 and Skylight Gaming. And LoG1, I believe, have a better position in terms of the high ground advantage that they have. They've got that extra vision to work out. But Skylight Gaming, they need to watch their tails, because they did know that there was a certain squad right behind them in boot camp, and that was Futurestation and Gremlin Storm, of course. And now Gremlin Storm do respect their opponents. They've played against each other in various scrimmages across. Just not the official ones, but of course the third party ones. So they're kind of well versed about the fact that Futurestation is right in front of them, and they need to be wary taking these fights, because one bad knock, in a bad position, and you're pretty much done. Either of the team, it does not really shy away from punishing you.
Exactly. I mean, they are not going to be backing out, but for now, Skylight's Gaming Joker trying to scout out the area right next to him. And there's going to be a squad right in front of him, but doesn't really seem like he's going to be spotting them, as they are not even exposing their bodies. But he's looking straight at their direction. But no one's really any in the nearby vicinity of Skylights Gaming, so they are going to be having a lot of free time to breathe for themselves, and even overall get better position inside the circle, as they can still reposition themselves. But for now, it does seem like the overall situation for all these teams are looking pretty decent, because the circle, as we did mention, is just real good. It's covering most of the ground for sure. And then even a lot of teams were actually moving inside in those late game situations. But the next circle shift is going to be more kind of like the deciding factor. And we take a look at this. It's actually a real good circle shift. Again, a lot of teams are inside, but still the teams that are outside are going to be making their way in. Of course, T2K and Venom Legends being one of them, they are making their way inside. And T2K this time seems like they're going to be using Weakles inside Sanhok.
I mean, why not? PTR has done that in the past. A lot of teams have done that in the GC. So they've taken a chapter from their book, and they're trying to do that, execute it. But I'm always really skeptic about these scooters. The moment someone spots you
Yeah.
down, you're basically a dead meat.
Yep, exactly. I mean, their speed is, of course, not that best of the best, but for now, seems like the airdrop 2 is going to be on the map, and it's going to be the MK14. Now, of course, we all do love this gun because it's just so good, even in those close ranges and even those long ranges. And of course, it's going to be DRS Nima, and we all do know this man is just so good. If he's going to be getting
Yeah.
that beautiful gun in his hands, then that's just going to be an absolute bloodshed from that man coming in. But for now, it does seem like A1, we take a look at these lads, they are going to be securing this compound inside the circle, which will certainly help them in the future because, again, now we all do know Sanhok is more kind of like on that circle favor situation typey map. If your circle is going to be favoring your side, then you will probably have a lot much more higher chance overall to win the chicken dinner.
Yeah, you certainly will. And considering how the circle has been faring off, it's going a bit towards the southern side. I will not really be surprised if it kind of heads on towards the quarry area. And once it goes to quarry, that's where the hell breaks loose. That's where all these teams, kind of struggle in finding a right position inside that region. And it kind of gets really tricky as to how you're going to approach it. But by the looks of it, 7 seed really do have a very good position out there. But now, taking a look at the boys from A1 Esports, I mean, this is also another of the squad that has been making the South Asian region proud, just not the countrymen. But now we've got to see as to how they perform in this first game. So, Necro, if you kind of bring in comparisons, right, from what we saw last week, this time, surprisingly, Sanok has been sort of silent.
Yeah, exactly. It has been silent. Now, we did expect a lot much more action going inside this because we did see a lot of action going inside Miramar. And it's actually really weird. Miramar being the longest and the biggest map, and Sanhok being the smallest map. And it's just absolutely a positive things happening because we saw so much action packed gameplay on Miramar, and on Sanhok, it's just not happening. The action seems to be missing because all these teams are just securing those compounds. And as, of course, I mentioned, Circle being one of the factors for this. Circle was just so good, and it actually covered so much land that the land, of course, has so much cover inside it as well. And these teams are being so comfortable overall, finding themselves the compound, finding themselves the comfortable spots inside the circle, and then just camping it out. So, of course, I mean, they do want to play safe as they can, and then as well, they can even test the waters out, which strategy is actually working in their favor.
Yeah, but here we have the players of Carnage going against DRS, and we can see the players of Freestyle in the far off fray. Now, the circle is gonna definitely take a shrink, T2K playing from the edges, so that's what they like to do. But we've got to wait it out, Carnage, we've got Freestyle, we've got DRS, like we mentioned, they're just on towards the eastern side of Quarry, and if the circle sort of goes over there, it's definitely gonna favor them. But the main compounds, the compounds towards the western side, the quarry compounds have not really been taken by any squad and hasn't really been in contention by anyone. No one really wants it because it's dead center. And the moment you start making the move, you might just get picked off and maybe you'll be wiped out before you even realize. Quite a lot of cluster of teams onto its
Ooh.
northern side, and the way the circle has shifted down south. Now, this is completely going to favor the players of God's Reborn.
Exactly. Now even Gremlin Storm will have to move inside the circle, and of course you wanted to see that quarry circle, and seems like the PUBG gods are going to be blessing you with that circle anyways. And now TTK, of course, making the rotation in. A lot of teams are actually following their steps as they're going to be making the rotation as well. Now, of course, when these rotations are being made, we might see a lot of teams colliding into each other, and the fights will be happening. And exactly the same thing will be breaking down as TTK are already losing one player, and that's going to be Jane falling down this time, and a big man. Jane's certainly not the person that T2K want to lose in situations like these.
Absolutely. And, T2K, certainly, like you mentioned, they cannot lose those players. Of course, the kind of an approach that they had was, to be playing from the edges. And while they did start to rotate, that's when they got caught off guard. However, Rated taking a few shots here and there, but DRS will safely manage to dodge the bullets and will patch themselves up. And they know that a huge storm is coming right up the alley, and they need to be prepared for that. For that, they have to get those better compounds going on for themselves. As you can see, God's Reborn, they're enjoying their own sweet time because they're right at the epicenter of where the circle is located. And A1 Esports, this compound that I was talking about, they did manage to capture it. Now, the players over here, we did see the players of DRS, kind of having that higher ground advantage and taking a few shots onto it, the players of Freestyle.
Exactly, and of course, high ground advantage is going to be one of the more important factors inside the late games. Of course, if you're going to be securing the high ground advantage, then you might be racking up a lot of kills because we all do know when you're going to be having the high ground, you will of course be having a clear view on the entire surrounding near you, and that's of course going to be panning out in your team's favor and even your favors to secure a lot of kills. And even we all do know one kill is equal to 1 point, so of course that points is going to be helped you as well. But for now, it seems like this time MGS are going to be making a real late rotation inside the circle, and Venom Legends as well. Now, late rotations might be a little tricky and risky, but if they just find a perfect route now between even Skylight Gaming and even Carnage, if they are going to be parking their vehicles right in between, then they might be a little safe on the edge. But seems like they are going to be running right into LoG1, and that might be a little troublesome.
That certainly will. But look at the players of LoG1. They've already locked on against the players of DRS, and AJ has certainly been taken down. Now, they need to watch their back because they've got teams absolutely surrounding them from everywhere. Kraken has already been taken down. Fuad did manage to get that res onto it himself and will patch himself up. But Rifat, he's not doing pretty good either. He needs to get those heals coming in. But now,
Mm.
the boys, Fuad. He's just prone in. AJ trying to, get that extra bit of an
Oh,
information. The moment he peeks out, he gets taken down.
exactly, that's going to be happening. Of course, saving your body is going to be more kind of like the important factor inside late circle. If you're going to be peeking out, then you are going to be dead in the open grounds as well. And that was a live demonstration happening right in front of you. Now, MGS and LoG1 seems like the fight will be breaking down anytime soon. And MGS are making their way right into them. And Farad, of course, one of the man right in front of them. Are they going to be spotting it out? And as we are talking, it's going to be AJ going down from DRS, and unfortunate casualty happening for them. And take a look at Galson. He's taking those sprays with Justin Hollow side in such a long range.
And to follow it up, he's got an iron on an AK. So you've got to give it to the lads, the kind of precision that comes along. And I really do not, question his aim potential. It is
Yep.
100% on point. But, we've got to let the game simmer and speak for itself because right now all these teams are being so very
Oh.
careful. The moment they're kind of, diverting their attention, some or the other team from the other lines is going to take them down, as a lot of kills are happening left, right, and center, because now everyone sort of needs to get inside the circle, needs to get a good spot inside the zone, and then needs to start defending it. Now we've got the players of Venom Legends finally engaging against the boys from
Oh,
Futurestation. They're in a whole
what?
world of trouble, and Rafit, he's just gonna mow them down, just slaughter them and wipe them out of their misery, as Venom Legends get a beautiful squad wipe.
That was unfortunate. What is going on? Venom Legends are on a killing spree this time. It seems like they have realized the mistakes that they were making in the first 2 days, and now Venom Legends are stepping their gameplay a lot much more up. And as we did mention, a lot of fights are happening. As the zone's going to be shrinking down, the fights will be happening, and these teams will be forced to fight against each other. And now seems like LoG1 is going to be having another casualty, as they just have that one last man standing, and it's going to be Rolex on his feet. But Galzun, somewhere down line, seems like he will be spotting him if Rolex will be giving his body away. Of course, he will be. But now DRS Nima trying to scout out the situation, as he did hear those sounds going off and does know that there is one last member of LoG1 still surviving. Now there's a massive fight going on between Carnage and it's going to be Skylight. Seems like one man has already went down for Carnage, and that's going to be a little unfortunate for a team like Carnage to lose out on a man in such crucial situations.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly cannot, they cannot afford to do that, but it has happened. But look at Rolex, he's just proning in. At the moment, we did see Rifat and his teammates, trying to make that movement. They had spotted out Nima, he was in that higher outpost. He had spotted him down, and he should have just been a bit more careful, trying to rotate around. He did not, and he was punished for that. Now, log one, Rolex is the last player surviving. The circle started closing in, so he needs to make that movement in. And Rifa, the final kill, will be, of course, confirmed. And Rolex, I do not really know how is he going to get in. He's got those 5 first aids to work around with. And by the looks of it, the way he is charging onto its crates, maybe he's going to collect a few more and then engage what possibly could be a heal battle.
I mean, of course, the more the better. We've heard about this saying, and that is certainly going to be applying to Rolex as well, as he's crouching down and running because he doesn't really want to give his position away that easily. So, of course, that's going to be helping him a little bit in the situation. But for now, there's a fight breaking down, and God's Reborn are in massive water trouble as they already have one casualty going in their favor. It's going to be Koa. Now, the res will be going in, and of course, it's going to be Roger getting the res onto Koa. Koa will be back on his feet, but he certainly needs to watch out as he's going to be popping the first hit and still going to be repositioning himself. Of course, the repositioning factor is going to be the main factor, but take a look at the zone shift. It's only onto A1 Esports, and that's just going to be sinister.
Yeah, I mean, the circle has been playing with the hearts of the players. Now, Joker needs to get that med on himself rather, and Heaven and Chari, they need to get inside the zone. But look at Luffy, he's already spotted out the players of God's Reborn over there as Heaven goes down to the wrath of the play zone. Dante falling as well, and so many bodies, just flying around left, right, and center, considering how this zone has managed to, just mess up their minds.
Oh
And
no,
Luffy,
Luffy.
yeah, he was too much out in the open.
Yeah, exactly. The rotation was kind of questionable coming in from Luffy, but at the same time, it didn't really have any choice. Joker, of course, going to be taking heavy damage from the zone as it is going to be moving, not going to be caring about Joker. And of course, Joker will be going down in the process. Skylight Gaming losing a massive factor, a massive player inside this. And Futurestation just take a look at these lads. Freestyle, and Freestyle seems like they do know that there is one squad right behind them, but there are so many squads right above them as well, so they will need to watch out. And DRS losing out on one of their man. It's going to be MG this time, putting an end to one of the lads from DRS. Now things are down to Galzan and Nima. How good are these guys? Are these lads going to be able to hold off on the situations like these? And Nima taking heavy fire from the top of the hill, and it's going to be Weekend going down. Beautiful shots taken from Nima there.
Yeah, of course. Magnus, they have been playing phenomenally well right from the very start today. And I think they're going to continue this kind of a run that they are having as they take a dig on towards Galzin as he gets knocked out. Now, it's all upon Nima to keep his squad alive. He's got a lot of choices to make. He does not really have a lot of bandages or maybe even a first aid kit to work out with, though.
Exactly. Now, the meds are going to be more kind of like the crucial factor inside late game circles because the damage will be dished out a lot from a lot of teams. And Magnus seems like they are going to be using that little scooter. And is he going to be safe in making those rotations? Because he's just going full ballsy mode and he's going to be going down. He's taken off from that. And of course, he will be caught off guard in the open ground, and this is exactly what I was saying. The scooter is not really the great choice to make an open rotation like that, and Magnus going to be losing 2 members in the process. Now it's just going to be Weekend on his feet, and Weekend going to be smoking his position out. Of course, wants to get that extra cover, wants to get that extra heals popped as well. And now take a look at Freestyle Luffy behind the circle, and there's one man right in front of him. It's going to be TTK rated, sir. Is Luffy going to be able to catch him off guard? Seems like he's just going to be doing a heal battle.
Yeah, he certainly will be, but right now things have started heating up. You've got the players of Magnus, they're all crawling right on their feet, and they need that backup, they need that revive. But is it going to happen though, as Rated has finally been spotted? He did clutch out in Miramar, but is it going to be his game today as Roger has been eliminated? And with that, down goes the players of God's Reborn. And you can see in the far fray, Blood Legion, they are actually living up to their name, finally hungry for the blood, finally, putting a display of the Blood Legion that we did get to witness during the entirety of the PMC or Bangladesh region. And as we were speaking, we might have stepped on our guns because Weekend did manage to get a beautiful knock, but can he get inside the circle considering the kind of HP that he has, which brings us to a 3v1 situation. It's the whole squad of Blood Legion against one last survivor of DRS. That's going to be Nima.
Take a look at Nima. He's just such a cute little rat hiding behind a little stone. And Blood Legion, of course, they think that there is someone right in front of them. Now, seems like they are just going to be wiping those covers out with those nades. Now, that's definitely one of the more crucial things that you need to do in late game situations. But Nima is in a real unfortunate and disadvantageous position. Of course, he doesn't have any meds going inside the favor as well, but he does have the circle favoring him. So maybe a little bit of advantage for himself, but still, his HP is not looking good. He only has 45 5 HP for himself. And how long is he going to be able to survive? Of course, as we take a look at this, Nuclea already going to be pushing towards him. And Nuclea somewhere down line does realize that there might be Nima hiding behind this rock. And just take a look at him. He's just going to be aggressing right onto Nima. Nima is just going to be doing those jiggle fire. Those puzzle peaks are coming through from Nima. And of course, it's going to be Blood Legions taking the first game in their hands, and absolute domination coming in from these lads.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Lo and behold, here are your winners of the first game of your evening. That's gonna be XP Blood Legion, all the way from Bangladesh.
Yeah.
And we have seen this in the past. We had been asking regarding the same. When will the players be back? And there you have. I mean, they still managed to get the chicken dinner even without the presence of Dominic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, still, because Leo is back and Rayan is back. And Rayan is just overall such a good fragger that Blood Legion have to offer. Now, Rayan is a kind of man, he actually fills in the role of lurker and even that fragging power as well. And Rayan is just overall so good at executing those fights from all across the aboard angles. Now, he is a man who can actually reposition anywhere he wants and still manage to come out on top in those fights. Now, of course, that's going to be more kind of like game sense going inside his favor as well. But overall situation are in the favor of Blood Legions, and they just dominated the last game.
Necro, quite a lot of big disappointments over here. The
Yep.
winners, the top fraggers, the highest point takers of the last week haven't really had the best of the games, and that is what Sanhok does to you. Sort of think that you might be in the zone, you might be having a good time, but if you do not watch your left, right, and your backs, including your front, you're basically done. I think the best glimpse is what we witnessed when the players of Magnus did want to make that push on towards DRS. So they knew the players were pinned down over there. They certainly could have gone there. But, the lack of smokes that they could not really build up, that parting smoke for themselves, did cause in their demise as well. But finally, Blood Legion have managed to take the first chicken dinner of the evening, and they certainly are going to look for more.
Exactly. I mean, they will be looking for more as there are two more maps coming in, and of course, it's just going to be Sanhok. But again, Blood Legion will be hungry. But I really want Carnage to step up as well, and even PN Crew. Now, of course,
Yeah.
PN Crew did have a real good position inside those late game situation as well, but somehow they crumbled down easily.
Yeah, they sort of did. To be honest, this time the way the zone really panned out,
Yeah, yeah.
initially we did anticipate it might be going towards Bhan, but no, that was not the case. Then we sort of thought that it might go towards Quarry, but no, that was not even the case there as well. And eventually it did end up towards the southern side, just above the cave areas. A lot of teams did have the good, the better positions out there. A1 Esports definitely being one of them, but not really having the numbers, the players being taken down while they were trying to rotate around, sort of was a result, or sort of was a reason for their downfall, rather, so as to speak. But moving on, we did see the other teams, DRS getting that consistent run going in through the thick and thins of it, because they've always been that squad, that believes in consistency. But if you talk
Yeah.
about major disappointments, I mean, Futurestation, Gremlin Storm, what on earth were they doing, being caught out by the players of Venom Legends, if my memory serves me right?
Yeah, exactly. Venom Legends were the one who actually took them down. And that was an absolute unfortunate fall for them. As they were trying to make their way inside the zone, Venom Legends were just right behind them, racking them up. And then slowly and steadily, they actually managed to secure one by one kills, and they just wiped them out instantly. Now, of course, they did get caught off guard outside the covers as well. And that's how they actually went down, if I
Yeah,
remember it
they were
correctly.
the lower
So I mean,
grounds.
yeah, they were, yeah, that exactly what happened, and that certainly is going to be more kind of like the disadvantage factor. If you're not going to be having a lot of cover in your favor, and if the enemy team is going to be having that cover, then of course the enemy team will be having way much more advantage inside the fighting situation that you more than you.
I mean, right off the get-go, we did witness quite some, gruesome fights breaking out already. And Carnage did have a good time at that. They got
Yeah,
they got that only one squad right. But apart from that, this was also one other of those teams that did get caught off guard during their rotation. So rotations are going to be very, very crucial here. We do understand, we do acknowledge the fact that every single player in the lobby has really good aiming potential. but Sanhok is where your movements are tested. How do you traverse around? You've got those rocks. How you build those covers? How do you take your fights? And what is going to be really important is your timing. You have to make sure that if you are engaging in a certain squad fight, you need to make sure that you need to complete that entire fight in maybe like a minute or maximum a minute and a half. If you go beyond that, there's 99.99% chances that a team will definitely come to third party you.
I mean, exactly. Yeah, as you did beautifully mention there, you will have to finish your fights as fast as possible because Sanhok is a real small map, and third parties, and even to make a third party, it's not that tough. Even if you're a decent meters away from the fight that is initially happening, you can just start running towards them, and you will probably make it because Sanhok is just a small map, and you can cover any distance with just your foot. It's not that tough, and so exactly as you did mention, you need to finish those fights initially real quick, and that is somewhat these teams need to do as well. Now, of course, we did see some initial fights in the starting stages go down, Blood Legion and God's Reborn, and that fight never happened. That fight never happened. But still, they were looking forward to make that fight happen, and they actually wasted so much time in that initial stages. But still, Blood Legions were the one who actually won the game, so it doesn't really matter anyways.
Yeah, I mean, finally, dropping down below towards Sami certainly did help their cause, and they were really smart, I must say, with their rotations. The fight against God's Reborn, like you just mentioned, did not happen, so they did capitalize on the situation. They did manage to take that higher ground, and as a result of which, did fare off really well. But let's take a look at the match rankings, ladies and gentlemen, and find for ourselves how did the first map of Sanhok fare out for all these lads. And there you have 24 points coming out for the winners, of course. That's going to be XP Blood Legion.
Exactly, Blood Legion again proving up to their name, and this is exactly the Blood Legion that we wanted to see. And as you mentioned, they're getting those new devices, and seems like those new devices are going to be making it work. And now Blood Legion, of course, with those 24 points and 9 kills, and then Magnus following them up with 6, and then DRS. Of course, we did see Nima, the last man standing. A little cute Nima was the only last one, and he didn't even have any meds, so Nima did stumble down slowly and steadily. But then Freestyle as well is going to be on the 4th position, and then God's Reborn. Now, God's Reborn did make a long way as Blood Legions were thirsty for them in the start, but still, God's Reborn managed to barely survive it out and still managed to secure a high position for themselves. But now, talking about this, Train to Kill going down on 9th position, and even a lot of big names, as you did mention, Fixes, like F4, LoG1, Futurestation, and R3G. What exactly happened? Now, R3G, we did see these lads going down to Carnage early off, and then F4 again going down to Venom Legends, and then LoG1 in an unfortunate, tricky situation, and then Futurestation as well.
Considering the fact that the way things have gone, I believe there's a slight technical hiccup. And, A1 Esports, of course, not really having the better of the times. LoG1, of course, did try to get inside the zone. And, we've got to see as to how things, really pan out for all these teams in the next game of Sanhok. Now, this was teams from groups A and B coming up. Now, in the next one, we have teams from groups B and C joining us. So, a lot of new teams, a lot of new names will be coming out there. Of course, we all know them in the past. We've seen them in the PMCOs and in the PMPL. But before that, let's take a look at the kill leaders.
Exactly, but I really want to see. Yep, of course, it's going to be Koa from God's Reborn. We did see Koa actually do so much, and yeah, I actually was like trying to remember who was that man who was still surviving in the end and who was actually putting down so much work. It's going to be Koa from God's Reborn with 4 kills, and then SG Joker, Skylight Joker, it's going to be with 4 kills, and then Gyro going to be securing himself 3 kills, and then again Blood Legions Leo. Now this is exactly the Blood Legions that we know. Even in the PMCO, we saw those kill leaders overall, and we saw Blood Legions all over there, and this time seems like Blood Legions are slowly capturing over the kill leader stats.
Yeah, of course. I mean, to talk about the players of God's Reborn, of course, they're kind of having a good time. But considering how they've been playing, I mean, I really want to see more out of them. They are a confident bunch of a squad. During those final days of the regional finals, it is when they really started stepping up. But now, I'm really excited as to see what the teams from Group C have to offer. You've got some big names coming in over there, and going against the players from teams of Group B who have already faced the action in Sanhok and did witness everything just going on around. So it's going to be really interesting, rather.
Exactly. It'll be interesting. And now, again, as you did mention, now the next game is going to be interesting. But in the next game, we're not going to be seeing Blood Legions play over here,
Yeah.
and that is going to be a little bit disappointing for me as well because you know I'm a Blood Legions fan. But now, as you did mention, the Group B and C will be playing inside over here, and now it's just going to be these teams fighting against each other. And we did see even the last time in Miramar when it was the second map, we did see Machine step his gameplay up a lot more. And is the history going to be repeating itself? Because I want to see some 1-on-4 clutches again, especially inside a map like Sanhok. Then we already know this might be more. It might be like twice more the action we saw in Miramar.
I mean, Necro, I know you're a dreamer. I know you're a believer. You know that this squad can certainly come down
Yep.
strong, come down heavy. I'm also looking at Deadeyes this time around,
Yep.
because
Dead eyes.
this is one of those teams that I know can do it, has got what it takes to do it. But right now, let's take a look at the overall rankings and see how have these teams fared off after this first game of Sandhawk.
Exactly, of course, and the overall ranking F4 are going to be still freezing themselves that first spot, but Futurestation not really far away and trying to kill as well, did manage to secure that third position when Raditzer actually clutched the entire situation out in his favor in the last Miramar map, and then DRS Gaming right below them with on the fourth position. And still seems like DRS are searching for that chicken dinner inside their pocket. Now, of course, they will be finding it, but PN Crew again making a massive comeback here.
Today is where I want to see the boys from STALWARTxFLEX really come up. They've got
Hmm.
that one extra game that they are yet to play, and if they
Hmm.
might get a chicken dinner, and let's say with a good number of kills, I think they're good to go. But after that amazing performance, the boys from God's Reborn have taken that plunge above and are in the ninth spot. But now, taking a look down under, a lot of teams are there. A lot of big names.
Hmm.
Primarily being 7C and Carnage. They're kind of falling
Hmm.
short in terms of how they're playing. And,
Hmm.
you would expect bigger things from the champions, from the PMC or Nepali region this time around. But here you go. Now, as we even go further down under, things started, getting even more bad, to be honest, because Venom Legends, this is not where we are expecting them to see. And you've got the likes of A1 Esports, a team that did have that experience of going into the GC. And we know, when it's A1 Esports and when they're up against a team like BTR, what does happen? I'm sure every single viewer watching this is aware of the same. So 18th position is certainly where I do not like to see them. And what I would really expect them is to take that plunge up. But again, freestyle, inertia, oh my god, so many big names. They need to step up, or the tyranny might just be done.
Exactly. I mean, that is going to be happening. Venom Legends, of course, the last game they were doing great because they did manage to wipe out the entire existence of Futurestation there. But now Venom Legends need to step their gameplay up. Now, how are they going to be doing that? Well, we need to ask them in person as well. But now we did see, now we are taking a look at High Voltage as well. Now, High Voltage is going to be playing in the next game as well. How are High Voltage going to be able to pan things out? Now, day one and day two wasn't really their day, but maybe this time Sandhawk might bring them some luck.
It certainly can. It certainly
Hmm.
can. But if we talk about predictions, I love doing that. I love putting you on the spot. But this time, I'll keep my question simple. Okay. So, do you think a team from Group B can get a chicken, or is it going to be the newcomers, that's Group C, that will be getting one home?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I really want NFP to get one.
Uh,
If I'm being completely honest, because last time they got absolutely destroyed by Reddit, sir, which I feel like that might have destroyed their ego as well, and even a
yeah.
little bit of competing power that they have. So I want them to retreat it back up. Now NFP is of course one of those underdog Pakistani teams, if we talk about that, and if NFP want to retaliate their position, then they will have to do something.
They certainly will have to do something. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will be pushing for a short little break. As we come back, we will have the beautiful map of Sanhok, so you don't go anywhere. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We are finally back online with the game, and seems like the flight part did move on without us, and that sort of breaks my heart.
The plane is not going to be waiting for anyone's fixes, and that is going to be a live example. Of course, we weren't on time. The party wasn't on time, and we actually missed it out. But it doesn't really matter, as the first circle is going to be coming in, and of course, covering the maximum amount of land. Now, this is the exact same, almost the same circle, but the previous circle was more kind of like on the downside. But this circle is going to be covering the area of Hatsin, Cow, and even Mongnai. So that is
Hmm.
going to be a lot much more interesting circle as the fight is going to be happening on those upper edges. Now, personally, if you ask me, I really want the entire zone to end on the boot camp area. Now, why do you ask me? Well, to be honest, boot camp is more kind of like my love.
All right. I mean, everyone sort of loves boot camp, but during competitive, it's the brave hearts that take a plunge over to that dreadful area because it's got so many covers, and if you kind of are the ones who've landed outside boot camp and you're trying to get inside, and if you've got a team already positioned and stationed over there, it's going to be so much difficult to get that opening because even if you get one knock and then you like, guys, hey, we need to make that push happen, but you do not know where the other players
Yeah.
are because so many areas are there on from where you can get that beautiful angle and get those knocks. So kind of gets really tricky. And even when the circle sort of shifts outside of boot camp, that gets very risky for the team inside it, the one team that dropped inside it, to kind of make that rotation because it's kind of a flat ground. You kind of too much exposed as you make a move. But what I'm really worried about in the early game stages is all these teams that have kind of landed in the Western Islands. How are they going to make it inside the zone and inside? And I mean, I'm talking about the Central Island in this particular case over here.
Well, I mean, as the map being Sanhok, of course, you don't really need those vehicles, so the walking distance is going to be pretty much enough for you to cover. And if you're going to be walking in those late game phases, as we were saying, if you're going to be making those rotations in the late game phases, then you will certainly have to just those edge camp situations will be in your hands. But for now, a fight breaking down between TUF and Venom seems like is going to be coming out on top in that fight. And an unfortunate casualty happening early off this time. TUF actually showing that they are still present inside the game as another fight might be erupting. It's going on between R3D Joker, but seems like Joker is quite unaware of RX Jack's position over here, so he needs to watch out around him. How is he so unaware of Jax's position?
I mean, the snakes of Sanhok, as you might
Yep.
love to call them. In the,
Yes.
there are various kind of reptiles. We've been
Yep.
talking
Yep.
about them in the previous PMPLs. There are those ones who kind of, watch you. They kind of are reluctant to take those shots. They
Friendly
better
ones.
let you just pass by. The friendly ones. They mean
Mm-hmm.
no harm. And then you've got those very stingy ones, the
Yep.
poisonous ones. The moment they spot you, they just knock you down, and before you even realize, you've got a fallen crate over there. So variety of reptiles, and that's the beauty of Sandhawk. So we've got to respect that fact. But as we move on further, we've got the boys from A1 Esports, sort of trying to have a good compound just beside Paradise Resort. And Jax, I believe he's the lurker of for his team. He's kind of playing that flanking position to get that extra bit of an information for his squad mates.
Well, exactly. And let me tell you how to guess which one is going to be more venomous or which reptiles are going to be friendly. Now, of course, if you're going to be seeing those colorful reptiles, then those are one of the most toxic ones. You need to watch out from them. But if you see one of those, like, just like normal color one, which are, matching in the nature, which are more kind of like, not visible that easily, then they are not going to be doing much harm to you. They will just wait for you to pass by and things might be happening because of course if you're going to be wearing those more kind of like those attention grabbing clothes, that will be a factor that you would be knowing. Of course, okay, now I have clothes that have a lot of colors on me, so that means me getting spotted first is a massive chance. So he will probably try to engage the fight before you even spot him, so that will be one factor. But for now, I'm gonna stop talking because Skylight Gaming, a big squad, is getting under a fight between NFP and NFP underdog squad coming from Pakistan region. How are they going to be capitalizing in this fight?
They really, after the kind of a blunder that they had committed
Oh,
last week, this time
oh.
they are so determined. And there you go, Sky Ash getting that beautiful knock onto its heaven, and it's all down to Joker, who needs to make a run for his life, to be honest. And this is what we expect from the lads of NFP, because with the kind of a play that they made in the Miramar, the kind of a huge mishap that, of course, they certainly did not intend to, and they sort of had to redeem themselves. This is a team that's playing the PMPL. They needed to let the viewers and all the fans know that that was just a small tiny mistake. And I think wiping down the squad of Skylight Gaming over here is certainly going to send a beautiful message towards everyone out there.
Well, exactly. I mean, to be honest, the way these guys are executing the fights is just absolute beauty because they already took down two members of Skylight Gaming. And of course, we all do know Skylight, what they're capable of and what they can do to the enemies. And if you're going to be challenging a fight against such a solid squad, then you already are a brave squad and you don't need to prove anything else. And as you did say, that is going to be sending a massive message inside the map as well as the fights will be progressing forward. And seems like the kills are happening as well as Deadeyes Hungrybox already getting a knock onto his enemy team, and seems like they are not really going to be having a good time as it's going to be TUF falling down. Now, TUF, of course, one of the squads that we saw opening those fragging spree up, but ESP falling down to Hungrybox is not really going to be a good message for themselves.
Well, right now, you've got the lad, Shifu sir, making a move on towards TUF. Now, TUF, they've been miserable in terms of their performance. They've been so lackluster. We expect to see bigger things from them, but they're going against a team that's highly informed right
Ooh.
now. And with those beautiful barrage of grenades going on, finally they're committing for the push. And what do you expect? Hungry Box, he is hungry. He's a mean man monster over there and does manage to find that first knock. Now, considering the fact that they've got that higher ground advantage, they've got a lot of ways in which they can play this fight around.
Exactly. They can play a lot of ways in this fight around. Of course, repositioning is going to be a main factor inside this as well, as 2F are in such an uncomfortable spot as they do have that lower ground going inside for them. And Hungrybox does know that Venom is right next to him as well, so he's not really going to be peeking that easily, as Hungrybox is waiting it out eagerly. Just take a look at what On Top is doing. He's rotating all the way from the back lines, but is he going to be able to make it in time? Because seems like they are not going to be backing off, and Deadeyes are just so impatient. They're going to be pushing right into them as King has already went down. Deadeyes losing one man in the process. TUF, other man is knocked out, and of course that's going to be a clean wipe from Deadeyes, taking down the entire squad of TUF. Beautiful execution, but did get a casualty going on in those early phases as they were a little too impatient.
Yeah, a little too eager is what I really feel is what happened over there. Of course, Shifu was one of those players we've seen in the past. He's capable of, kind of pulling off a lot of beautiful fights, a lot of beautiful kills. But today was not the day. You kind of tend to push like
Oh,
that. You're certainly going to be punished. But here we have F4 against STALWARTxFLEX.
oh
So
my god.
two biggest names from Pakistan going head on to each other. And are they kind of sort of aware about their respective positions?
Ooh,
Because
Zayden.
Zeda might just have given it away.
Yup, he might have given his position away, but also he did spot some members of STALWARTxFLEX. It's going to be Johnny blowing his cover up this time, and Zayden trying his best to blow out those nades as well, as Johnny has successfully managed to reposition himself. Now, this is going to be one of the most iconic fights to witness, as both of these teams are just so good. And yes, it's going to be Waltrix opening the killing spree up and Blade going down early off. Now, Zayden trying his best to blend in the nature, as he's not going to be peeking up, but they are going to be dragging each other into the abyss as the nades and as the barrage is coming in through, and Zayden going down from Yuzim this time, but now things are just down to those two men surviving for F4.
Yeah, right now, FO, they certainly are missing out on the big man himself. That's going to be Rahman. And Zedan already being taken out of the equation. They know and they respect the opponents. They know that they're not in a position to engage, because you can clearly see the kind of a low ground advantage, disadvantage that they have for themselves. Maybe getting into the covers, maybe, having control over a compound can certainly help them nullify the situation over there. But at the same time, the boys from StalWartxFLEX, they need to start rotating. They need to start getting inside the circle.
Yep, exactly. I mean, the rotations will be made in through, as the circle is going to be shrinking, and guys will realize. But it's just a second circle. It's not going to be
Yeah.
hurting that much, so they will still take their sweet little time looting and even making their way inside the circle slowly and steadily. But Aini is one of the teams that is still outside. Now, if they're going to catching a straight route inside the circle, they might meet a squad like Carnage right next to them, and even Futurestation is right next to them as well. Now, that might be one of the most iconic fights to witness, as F4 is right next to them, and even STALWARTxFLEX. Now, all these four teams have lined up next to each other, and if these guys are going to be spotting each other, then this fight is going to be an absolute nuclear missile going on itself, and this might be a massive alarm going inside the entire map.
Yeah, but there you have the boys from 952, taking a dig onto its the boys from Magnus, of course, and that's happening on the northern side, right beside Tatmok over here. But look at Skylights. I mean, Joker, he's the last player surviving. He's managed to, I believe, secure 2 kills, and you've got the big mean man himself, Kapshi, pushing along with Machine. Can he get one more beautiful
Ooh,
knock? Now, that's not the
no.
case, as Machine comes from the left, gets the final kill, and possibly might get his teammates back up online.
Yep, I mean, that's going to be a real good, medic play coming from Machine there. Now, of course, that back end cover was so essential, and that was needed in favors like those, because Freestyle did lose those 2 players, or Future Station, my bad. They did lose those 2 players early off, and that was kind of unfortunate. But now seems like another fight is breaking down between 2 legendary teams. It's going to be DRS and Carnage. But no, it's going to be A1 Esports this time challenging another fight. Now, there are so many fights happening in the nearby vicinity, and this is exactly what we wanted to see. Those fights going off early, and the last game was missing out on the early action.
Yeah, they certainly were missing out, but look at DRS as the hell has broken down for them. As Manish, with that beautiful barrage of grenades, he's gonna finish off Nima in the process, but Snipe, however, finding out AJ. So Carnage having those, flurry of success with getting those continuous back and forth knocks here and there. Now it all comes down to Kjalsen and Mr. Boro, and Kjalsen is making a really, really thunderous movement down below the hills, and Mr. Boro, he is just going to save his good old teammate. That's gonna be AJ. But this also gives that time and room for Malik to go and get the revive back onto its Jiggle. So Carnage has, of course, been going through some roster changes. They've gotten Malik, like we did discuss previously, and
Mm-hmm.
we do know the reason why they got him back. But on that note, AJ's got that rest back up. He's got that first aid. Now, I believe
Oh,
DRS have rather a better position. But look at Snipe. If he can connect the shots onto which Mr. Burrow, then this is a deal done. This is deal
no!
over for DRS. But no, Mr. Burrow spotting out Snipe in the process, getting that beautiful knock. And now the 2 players of Carnage, they're making that push. Jiggle somehow managing to spot down Kjalsen in this situation. Will, of course, would want to get that kill confirmed. Now it comes down to AJ and Mr. Boro to defend their pride.
Exactly. Now the nades are coming in through, and that nade is just so close. No, barely making it. Barely making it, and AJ going to be thanking his fortune as he's still standing on his feet. Now AJ going to be making that rotation inside the house, of course, trying his best to reposition himself. As Malik not going to be having any kind of shields, he's just rushing inside. As Jiggle still in the backlines does know that there is another teammate, so he is going to be given that back in cover for Malik, as well as Malik trying his best to take down AJ inside the house. But AJ, the man who's not going to be given his kill away that easily, so he is going to be playing in those back end situation. But take a look at Jiggle. Jiggle is from the back lines. Now Malik is still pushing, and AJ has been taken down from Malik. A beautiful execution coming from Carnage.
Wow, I mean, that was awesome what we just witnessed. The way
Yep.
Carnage, the kind of synergy that they displayed, I mean, really feels like Malik has been playing with them since ages. The way they kind of helped each other out, and Malik, of course, the final drop shot to end things out. And, this is a big team. This is Team DRS that we are talking about over here.
Yep.
This is a team that has the experience at the highest level. And this is the kind of an onslaught that Carnage are dishing out at them. And this is a message. This is a message well delivered. Carnage are here to rule. And teams may come and teams may go, but well, the kind of a play that they displayed right now, having the best positions in those particular fights, everyone being very, very good, even individually. We did see Jiggle, right out in the open. He got that one beautiful frag over there, and then he managed to give that cover fire towards Manish, where he did manage to take down another player of DRS, and it was the lonesome AJ who survived in the end. He was just wiped away by Malik. So every single player contributing for this particular squad, and Carnage Esports, I mean, what a beautiful wipe.
Exactly. I mean, I don't really know what to say after that wipe. Now, of course, DRS one of the teams that is so dominant overall, even in the past and even in the upcoming stages as well. And now DRS, if they're going to be going down to Carnage, then that's a massive message sent by Carnage as well. But just overall execution from Carnage, that was just absolutely beauty as they actually executed the fight. For now, seems like 1952 might be getting in a fight with High Voltage, as High Voltage has already lost one man down, and the res will be coming back up, but High Voltage are in a massive world of trouble now. As of course, if we take a look at the nearby vicinities, Deadeyes being on the top right mountain as well, as High Voltage has of course signed the new player coming in for them. That's going to be Extreme. Now we did see Extreme play with Giant Mara, and this time it's going to be High Voltage not going to be missing out on a player like Extreme, and instantly signed him as well in the roster.
Yeah, the moment you see that you can get one of the players that are gonna bolster up your squads, and you sign him. That's what you do, and they've taken a very good decision with that.
Yep.
And we know how beautiful Team High Voltage is. They've got the likes of Assassin, they've got the likes of Kuni, they've got Ozzy. So quite a star-studded roster themselves, and they've been the underdogs in the past PMPL, but this time they're the top dogs. They are one of those teams that are definitely eyeing out for the championship, for the title over there. But as we are speaking, the circle is slowly but surely heading towards Paradise Resort. Now, this might be trouble in Paradise if it actually goes in towards those inner compounds. But the players of Carnage, they're just kind of gatekeeping or edge keeping the zone, so as to say, because this is waiting out, if there is some prying team that's, kind of struggling to get inside the zone, and they will take them out and make sure that their tails are doing good.
Exactly. And now A1 again, seems like there are so many near squads in the nearby vicinity in the Paradise Resorts. Now it's going to be NFP and even Magnus and even A1 Esports in the nearby vicinity, and there's still one more squad there lurking around. Now, how are the fights going to be happening? Of course, NFP and Magnus, the distance between them is too close, and it's going to be emerged from the back lines. Maybe he will be spotting someone from NFP, but no, that's not going to be happening anytime soon. But as we take a look at Halsey, is already going to be raining and barraging those nades on Magnus, but those nades are nowhere close to be found. And now seems like NFPR is just going to be giving their position away with those nades. I don't really know if that was a good decision to do.
I mean, we gotta still let the time speak for itself for now, because the circle has certainly gone off from the Paradise Resort. A few compounds are, however, still in contention, as we see the boys from A1 Esports getting a beautiful knock. But there you go, Sky Halsey already, spotting out the players of Magnus, and there's just matter of seconds before he takes a push on towards Emerge, who is, of course, on the lower ground. And there you go, the 2-1 split, as we can see over here. Halsey taking a rather very extreme flank and will spot out Emerge, but no, it's Emerge who spots him out before he does and gets that beautiful knock onto him. And can he get the second one out here with his QBs? He's just spraying down, peppering down those bullets. Has got that Molotov going in, and another beautiful knock coming in onto it. Sky Halsey from the back lines, as Magnus has read the situation really well, but he did have too much on his plate as he gets wiped out.
Exactly. Now that's such an unfortunate moment for them. Now Magnus getting wipes out instantly, but taking a look at this entire situation for now, F4 do have that dominant position inside this, and Carnage getting spotted, barely surviving. Malik making a real crucial and a beautiful reaction coming from Malik, barely crones down from those shots, but Carnage are in a heavy world of trouble as 3-man has already went down from Carnage. The res is going to be coming in back up, and of course it's going to be Snipe Whitey resing his teammate out, but now those nades are going to be barraging in through. Now F4 Khan does want those kills going inside his pocket, but just take a look at this. There are so many backstabs happening at the same time. It's going to be STALWARTxFLEX taking a member down. It's going to be Khan going down early off this time, and that's going to be a massive casualty as A1 is also breaking in a fight. It's going to be a fight going on against NFP. Which team will come out on top?
I mean, anybody could be the one taking the chicken over here, but look at Dante's position as NFP go against A1 Esports as they're playing. Players are falling down one after the other. It's all upon Sky Ash to, sort of hold himself up in this kind of a situation as Dante has finally managed to push and gets knocked down. And Sky Ash might just consider finishing him off. Before that, he needs to take a fight against 6ix9ine. But no, that's not going to be happening anytime soon as A1 Esports successfully wipe them out. But look at Carnage Snipe. He is a bean man monster out there, but no, gets taken down from the far off fray by the boys from STALWARTxFLEX. Now this is hell breaking loose in Sanhok. Everybody, we are witnessing absolute pandemonium throughout the lobby over here. Every single team going after the other, and A1 Esports have sort of found a breather, but they've got 16 seconds to work things out and then get inside the zone. Now you've got the players like Destroyer and Voltrex who are being very patient, being very calm. They know that Carnage is right in front of them. We did witness them, lobbing those beautiful grenades at them. So they're kind of waiting for the right opportunistic moment to strike.
Exactly, but now STALWARTS is being one of those teams, but now I'm going to hold on to my words as the fight is breaking down between F4 and Carnage, and Voltrex getting knocked down from the back, and of course STALWARTS is going to be the more kind of annoying and mean people because they're just doing so much work from those backlines. They got so many kills in just those Paradise Resort areas, but there are so many fights happening as it's going to be Futurestation as well. Gremlin Storm are going to be knocking down the entire squad of LoG1, and of course that's going to be happening. It's going to be Evil Eye to close things out in LoG1.
Yeah, but they've taken a lot of damage, a lot of casualty, and this is a 5th circle. And the moment he went in, he basically knew that he was done. But what he could get for his team was a squad wipe, and that is what he did, and that's something that we really respect. But there you have Team INES going against the lads of A1 Esports, and hold on to my thoughts. It's not just going after one squad, but they're going after a lot more. You've got still 8 teams in the lobby, 19 players alive, and there you go. The circle's shifting and favoring the boys from 952. Now, the question here arises, can they bring it home?
Well, I mean, that's just not going to be that easy, because bringing it home is going to be going against so many squads. Just take a look at Entry. What are you doing, you absolute psychopath? He's going to be driving right behind Salu and going to be taking him down with an absolute ease. That's not going to be that big of a trouble for him, as Clutch is going to be the last man standing for INES, barely surviving that behind that thin tree. Now, the smoke is fading off. The cover will be fading off as well. Now, slowly and steadily, Entry making his way, and Entry getting spotted by Clutch. That's going to be enough. A little glimpse of Clutch is going to be enough, but now, of course, STALWARTxFLEX, you guys are taking each and every single squad down from the backlines. You guys are so annoying.
They're so mean, to be honest, but that's how life is. It's unfair, and STALWARTxFLEX certainly do know how to get the odds in their favor. They hold on, they wait for the time to shine, and now once they get it, they certainly do. And there you go, the push coming in onto it's the boys from 1952, but they really need to be very careful with the fights that they're taking, as one bad misstep might just lead into the demise. But now, STALWARTxFLEX realizing the gravity of the situation, they've started closing in, getting inside the zone. They're making a lot of noises though, so this sort of gives the other teams that are inside the zone that kind of an information that they're searching out for. They do know that the teams are over at that particular location, but on top, getting a beautiful knock onto its entry, Suyok will of course be the one finishing him off, as we have Magnet, the lonesome survivor for 1952. He's got to get 6 meters inside the circle, but how does he do that? The moment he comes out, his cover is sort of exposed, he's sort of blown off, and Uzum might just spot him any single moment. Now, any single crawling movement that he might be making will give his position away, as Magnet gets that one beautiful knock onto its Uzum. Can he get the second as he gets that beautiful knock onto its blade? But that's just about it. STALWARTxFLEX now in a whole world of trouble as we find ourselves in a beautiful Mexican standoff.
Well, that's gonna be that abyss getting dragged onto them. Now STALWARTxFLEX is, of course, in a little bit of cover. Now they are still looking a little comfortable as the res are coming in through from Johnny, and even Crypto gonna be the man to actually met his teammates up. Now, of course, they are back on their knees as Deadeyes is gonna be the squad right in front of them, and Crypto gonna be the man to spot Shuo, sir, taking a heavy amount of damage behind that little rock. But Deadeyes and these guys, Deadeyes and STALWARTxFLEX, of course, both of these legendary teams. Which team is going to be coming out on top? Because both of them do have massive courage going inside this. What is Shiwasur doing? Now Shiwasur is just going to be rotating in the open ground as Crypto doesn't have any choice left as well. He is going to be doing the same thing, and it's going to be Shiwasur's grave being dug by Crypto. Beautiful spray, absolutely maximal accuracy, but High Voltage, one of the teams that we didn't expect to stay alive till this late game situations, as on top is going to be finding the first knock, and then it's going to be High Voltage from the backlines taking down Deadeyes, and Hungry Box going to be spotting one member of High Voltage. It's going to be Coney going down, but Assassin taking heavy damage from the zone, and this might be it. Stalwart might be having this entire chicken dinner in their hand, and of course they will.
They certainly will, and in what fashion? Ozem, my man, 7 kills. Oh my, what a game! What a game coming in from this team. I've been talking about it. Now they were one of those teams that were in the top 8, even despite the fact that they just played 4 games. Now they've got those 15 points from the chicken dinner, and look at the kills. It's kind of adding up to 14. So 15 and 14, if my math serves me right, it's 29 points, right? So 29 points from just one game. I think we are gonna witness our team F4, taking a dip, and we also need to consider this fact that F4 are done with all the games for the evening. So now I think STALWARTxFLEX will be certainly our leaders. But the way they won the chicken dinner, what a beautiful fashion, right?
Yep.
They were the cunning ones, the witty ones, capitalizing on the situation where two teams were going against each other, and the moment they found them at the weakest, charged right at them, got those
Yep.
knocks and the conviction, and every single thing was pointed on. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you play Sanhok.
Exactly. I mean, the overall rotation they had inside the circle and even the position they had. Now, they had an absolute back angle on these teams. Now, of course, Carnage being one of them is getting caught off guard. Then F4 also being their victim. And then Avon Esports also stepped right in their trap, and Stalwart managed to wipe out all these teams back to back. Now, Snipe did try his best to get on top of the hill and try to eliminate out the entire squad of Avon. He was hearing those fights going on from from Avon. But still, Snipe, he tried his best to step on top of the hill, but then Stalwart was just from the back lines, denying everything, and even in the end, though, they were just racking all those kills those were knocked out, and Stalwart was just, I don't know, I don't have any words to express the way these guys played the last game.
And the way, the precision of the aim, the way STALWARTxFLEX were kind of moving inside the zone. I mean, Magnet did quite a chunk of damage over there, considering I felt threatened for a moment that this might just be it. This is the point where Deadeyes might just strike them and wipe them out. But no, they managed to get the final kill. They managed to get the 2 players online, and they got the knock. They took the fight right onto the face of Deadeyes as we take a look at the match rankings, ladies and gentlemen, and find for ourselves as to how many points have all these teams garnered in this second game of today's evening.
Look at that. 14 massive frags going in for STALWARTxFLEX with 29 big points. And then Deadeyes this time stepping their gameplay up. Of course, this was one of the teams that we wanted to step it up. And then High Voltage again following it up with 12 placement points and then 3 kill points. Now, High Voltage, one of the teams that we did not expect to do well inside the game because we did not see their name anywhere. They were one of those people that were playing so safe. They were trying their best to get those position points, but only managed to secure 3 kills, and those kill points certainly do tell us that they were not really the people who actually wanted to go out and fight. They were one of those introverts, as we'd like to call them. But then NFP, of course, one of the squads again inside the entire gunfire happening near the Paradise Resort areas, and I really feel like NFP was doing an absolutely great job in that previous game.
Yeah, the way they started things off, I really felt that this team is here to deliver a message over here. The way they just kind of went in and wiped out DRS, I believe. So, now, but that was just about it. That was just one moment of glory that they had for themselves. And apart from that, they were kind of off. And, I really liked how High Voltage approached this one out, right? So they were kind of really calm, they were patient, and they waited for the time to come. They respected the zone. At the moment they saw an opening, they strike. They did manage to get the second position for themselves. However, huge ups to the lads from Deadeyes. They were also continuously really fighting it out on. But now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the kill leaders of this particular match and find for ourselves as to who was the one dominating Slayer, and that has to be Uzum. 7 beautiful kills. Wow.
Of course, he is coming out on top with 7 kills. Now, STALWARTxFLEX, again, I want to mention it again because they are just going in circles in my mind because what they did was absolutely fantastic. Now, again, that was one of the most annoying moves that any team can pull off, but if it's going in our team's favor, then flip it. You know, you might as well take your chances and get those kills. But then again, STALWARTxFLEX Crypto going to be following it up with only 3 kills. Now, this exactly tells us what Uzum was doing. He was the man to actually rack all those knockdown kills and even secure those kills from the backlines. And STALWARTxFLEX was, I would say, they were dominating in the entire last game circle. And again, Fixes, if you remember
Yeah.
in the map of Irango, the last map that STALWARTxFLEX won, if you remember,
Yeah.
they actually had a real good position inside the circle, in the end circle, and they were doing the exact same thing. They were catching all the teams off guard, which were trying to make the rotation inside the circle, and because they just had a real good high ground advantage situation going inside for them, and all they had to do was just hold the compound and just mow down those squads that were taking the rotation inside.
I mean, to be honest, this time they did not really have the better of the circle. They took
Mm-hmm.
it, you know, and they
Yep, yep.
commanded the respect from all these teams. The way they were just, annihilating everybody. But now let's take a look at the overall rankings. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we might just have a new top leader over here, and that has to be STALWARTxFLEX. However, the margin is. Not too big, not too huge, but you still need to take a look at the matches that they've played. It's just 5 points, and they're right on top. So they have one more match to play out. I do not know. They might just get eliminated right off the bat. So anything can
Mm-hmm.
possibly happen because this is going to be against a different group. Now teams from Group A will be chiming in. So yeah, let's see as to which team will win the final game.
Well, I mean, there's one unfortunate casualty here. F4 directly falling down to third position from first. Now, that's a massive fall right there if we talk about. Now, of course, if you're going to be losing that king spot and going down to that more kind of like that smaller spot over there on the third position, then that's going to hurt. That's definitely going to be hurting you a lot.
Yeah, that will certainly. But I would like to bring the viewers' attention towards Carnage. They've just managed to
Mhm.
get 5 position points and 28 kill points. So this clearly shows that they know how to get those kills. But it's the positioning that is what they have to really work out on.
Mhm.
And well, as we move along, Venom Legends, freestyle,
Again.
LoG1.
well,
Mm.
well, I mean, Venom Legends is going to be certainly getting a position for themselves to play again in the next game, though. So anything can happen.
Yeah, anything can really happen, but I've seen these lads play in the PMPL. This is one of the teams. The moment you hear
Yep.
the name, your nerves kind of get rattled. You kind
Yep.
of start shivering, and you have that, very shimmery cold that you have. That the one kind of cold that hurts. That's the kind of a fear that they have instilled into the hearts of their enemies. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we will be going off for a short little break as we come right back along with the final game of the evening. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final game of the evening of the PUBG Mobile South Asia Pro Scrims, brought to you by Nodwin Gaming, of course. And this is season one, and things are taking a really tipsy turn. And the way things are going on, the new teams, they're really stepping it on. They're going big. Of course, the big guns that we have over here, STALWARTxFLEX, are your leaders in the overall standings. As we head along, as the flight path trajectory goes all the way from Hatin towards Lakabi.
Now again, PN Crew coming back in the line over here. We do have a lot of expectations from a squad like PN Crew, and Killer YT isn't really able to step up, but maybe this game will bring him some luck and charm as the game will be progressing in. And just take a look at the plane fly path. It was an actually real good plane fly path. It's going to be in the landing distance as well, and now seems like High Voltage are going to be going for that more kind of like the safe drop near Camp Alpha. Now, talking about High Voltage, of course, one of the teams that don't really like to challenge the fight, but I'm going to hold on to my word as the first circle is here, and take a look at the circle fixes. It is almost the same, but it's just changing the directions all the time.
I mean, same, but different.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it's more kind of like, the much of the land it actually covers, It's almost the
yeah.
same. It's basically like it covers 90% of the land, and then, the rest of it is just like left out. Because we did see the first circle on the bottom right side, then the upper right side, and now it's on the bottom left side. You see what
Oh,
I'm saying?
yeah, I certainly do. But right now I really couldn't understand. I think that was sort of a mispressing of the button by
Yeah,
Sky
yeah,
Kirax, sort
yeah.
of
Yeah.
completely blowing away his cover, or so as to say, because they are contesting against the squad over here, and it's none other than Blood Legion, and we know how deadly the squad gets, and they were taking a break after the first game. They were, of course, the winners of the first game of Sanhok, but this time the circle certainly has gone a bit towards a certain side. If you kind of expect a very even shrink, so we might get to see a circle ending on towards
Ooh.
Painan area. But look at Sky Ash. I mean, that's a beautiful, beautiful shots on towards Ryan, and he
Yep.
needs to get the hell out of there.
I mean, he did spot the edge of his helmet, just barely spot that, but still didn't really manage to, manage to land any shots. But that's just going to be enough to instill fear in his heart. So he's just going to be running away. As NFP, again, one of the squads that is trying their best, secure those early game kills. But Sky Ash, if he keeps moving in the same direction, he might meet. It's going to be a player from Blood Legions. Now, Sky Ash, you need to watch out. He's surrounding, and of course, it's going to be him taking him down. Nuclear, what a beautiful positioning from this lad. He was just waiting like a cheetah back there, and he was waiting for him. He was waiting for Sky Ash to walk right in his trap, and he just took him down easily without any issues.
Necro, that's what I call being completely outplayed played over there. I mean, Blood Legion was so well prepared for that fight. They knew that there must be that one player who will be trying to get smart, who will be trying to, take that flank, and that's when we strike. And the moment he did that, he took that higher ground
Yep.
instantly. The instantly got that knock, got the confirmation. He came down to the help of for his teammates. So I really loved how Blood Legion have approached this fight so far, not really having to deal with any sort of casualties, but getting one kill confirmed for themselves. But this is still, the fight completely not going out of NFP Sky's hands, because if they still want to get back in, they certainly can. And but the way they're moving in, they're kind of losing out. They're kind of giving a lot of map control towards the players of Blood Legion. Now, what happens next is Leo taking that larger route. But now what they are doing is a kind of an unorthodox type of gameplay where they just kind of go really together and spot down Ryan, just go three players right on his face. You take one down, you take two down, the third one will certainly get you. But as we speak of things, NFP Sky really, in a quite a how do I describe this? In quite a picky spot.
Exactly. I mean, I really want to put your attention as well as we're not really seeing Gyro anywhere on the field, but the fight is breaking down between NFP and Blood Legions as it's going to be Nuclear again challenging the fight. This man is just on that aggressive angle, stepping away all the time from his team. Now Leo and Rayan are really back away. Nuclear needs to watch his position out as he's getting compromised from all the angles. NFP Skykura as well trying his best to take down Nuclear, but Nuclear barely surviving and is on a sliver of HP. Nuclear is trying his best to back off, but there's the backup. It's going to be Rayan from the backlines trying his best to make sure his teammate Nuclear is not going to be having any kind of trouble, but Leo getting spotted from the backlines and has been taken down. Now that's a massive disadvantage going inside this, as Sky Hater is going to be the person to actually take him down.
Yeah, it certainly as Akira will instantly charge up onto its players over here of Blood Legion and wipe them out. So now this is another kind of a strat that I was talking about. Stick together, take down one fight after the other, and it might just help you out. So they were like, chuck it. We are not going for that. We're not gonna play those mind games. We are not really going in for those plays where we kind of isolate our players, because that's what happened with Nuclear. I mean, he was doing a really good, decent job in holding the attacks, but the moment he sort of exposed himself over there, that's where the trouble began, right? Then he had to retreat, and they were all in shambles. And the moment they got another knock, I think that's where NFP Sky did manage to get the high advantage. But like I said, they did get outplayed early on. But the instant switching of their strat certainly did help their cause. But there you go, R3D spotting out Skykira, but Skykira sort of avoiding that fight at the right nick of time, just proning down. So, no sir, thank you. I know that you're here. I'm not going to look at that direction anymore.
I mean, Edgar is going to be disappointed after that one, but still, Blood Legion didn't really have all their players going inside this. I mean, Gyro was missing there, Fixes, if you didn't notice. Like, Gyro wasn't there, and Blood Legion was just a three-man squad going inside this.
I mean, that's gotta hurt, to be honest, because he's one of those instrumental players for his squad that is capable of taking on a lot of fights on by his lonesome over there. So yeah, that's gonna hurt them, and yeah, it actually did. The entire squad did get wiped out. But Deadeyes on the other lines, we do see them engaging against 952, and 952 is also retaliating back in fashion. So it's Bangladesh and Nepal region going against each other, and we've got STALWARTxFLEX going against the squad of INES. Now, Deadeyes, you witnessing on top getting that res on back onto its hungry box as the push comes in from C minor, and Tawfiq from the higher angle. On top is in a very precarious spot, and Sujoy, he's trying to provide that cover fire, but that's not going to be enough. My apologies, as that's Suyog, and Deadeyes somehow they've done it. I do not know how. Is
exactly. Yeah. I literally wondered the same question, because 1952 had the high ground advantage and Deadeyes just wiped them out like a piece of cake. What just happened there? That was not even put it, like, they did not even put like 20% of skill in there. All they did was just run towards 1952, and they just crumbled down like it was nothing. But for now, there's a fight erupting between R3D and NFP, and seems like NFP are already going to be losing out on a man. And that's not going to be a real good situation for themselves, as it's going to be Hater going down early off. And Edgar's just take a look at Edgar. He's in the back line. He's going to be spotting Kira. And of course, Edgar's going to be taking him down. And that's going to be another squad wiped out. NFP taking an exit early off this time.
You know, a lot of teams are actually engaging in so much battles against each other. And R3D, to be honest, well, this is a squad, you know, we've seen them in the PMPLs. This is a squad that comes with a lot of promises. There was just that one map of Vikendi, which I remember they really were shining on. But apart from that, they've been kind of lackluster during the PMPL. So this time, considering the fact that we do not have Vikendi, so this might just be really troublesome for them. So they really need to, you know, kind of have a massive improvement in their game. And I'm pretty sure they must have, you know, considering how they're just wiping out squads left and right. But take a look at high voltage, you know, the kind of a split that they've engaged, or kind of a split they've committed for. You've got Assassin still in that northwestern island, whereas Aussie and his teammates have already made it inside the circle. But look at the players of Venom Legends. You know, they're taking the they're taking the boat, and the moment they come in for the shorelines, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they're not gonna have a friendly greeting.
Well, I mean, they certainly won't have a friendly greeting, as all these teams want to kill themselves, want to kill each other. Sorry, and that's going to be a massive factor going inside this. But for now, it does seem like PES are going to be heading right towards God's Reborn, as Koa is going to be on the bottom lines over there, and Venom Legends, of course, one of the teams that you wanted to succeed. Venom Legends seems like they are going to be using Weakle. That will be giving their position away quite a lot, because of course Weakle makes a lot of sound, and especially if you're going to be repositioning yourself with that Weakle, then that's going to be massive water trouble, as Koa is in a massive water trouble, as Koa is not really going to be happy with the current position he is in, and it's going to be Modu dishing out a lot of damage. But seems like there is a fight breaking down between God's Reborn and even Venom Legends. Which one is going to be coming out on top? As Venom Legends, White has already went down, and it's going to be Kali and Paya going down in the process. Now Koa still in the back lines, was getting capitalized from the squad on top of the hill, but PES is putting on a work. They are stealing the kills. They are being the stealers over here.
I mean, hey, that's Sanhok. You can't blame them. And you know, Regicide, they're just making their move in. And Venom Legends might just be in a whole world of trouble. I love the way they made it to the show. They managed to get a few knocks here and there, but that's just about it now. Their numbers have kind of reduced, and they're sort of dwindling around. And there you go, knocked out with that beautiful Gren. It's just about to explode. It did. Not really doing a lot of damage, but still shot. Still has been hammered. And Venom Legends, this is a squad, you know, that comes with a lot of promises. The way they play, the team representing the Bangladesh region, they've certainly looked very lackluster in all these scrims. Maybe they're hiding out strats. We never know. We never know, because I'm not going to judge a team from how they're playing the scrims. But there you see, these two players are sort of holding each other off. And you know what I would have loved from these two lads is if they had tried to create that beautiful cover fire and the beautiful crossfire. But rather than completely being oblivious about the push, he was just standing like a duck over there, not being able to do anything, and Regicide will certainly punish him for that. Insane, however, had been taken out, but you know, the trouble is not yet over, because God's Reborn, they backed off. But now, as they realize that it's another squad, they might just come and join the party. Maybe. No.
I mean, joining
They're
the
going for
party
the
wouldn't
zone.
really. Yeah, exactly. I mean, going for the zone is going to be more kind of like the good priority, because PES has managed to get themselves a clean wipe there, and all their friendly members are going to be alive. So, of course, all four of the members are going to be back onto their feet, as blah 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 there has managed to secure a knock onto a team, but seems like, again, TTK are getting inside a fight. Now, that's going to be interesting. Of course, TTK being one of the teams that isn't really doing great. But if you're going to be getting inside a fight, then my eyes are going to be onto you guys. And, of course, it's going to be STALWARTxFLEX are getting in a massive water trouble, as TTK is certainly not going to let them lose.
Yeah, I mean, now it's going to be really tricky as to how Regicide really approach this one, because you know, they've not got anyone on their tail, so that's a good thing. But right in front of them, they've got Assassin, but who's just a one-man guy over there. The other teammates are near towards the ruins area, so Now, God's Reborn, they're making their move. They're getting inside the circle. They're sort of edge keeping these players, but this is a fight that we might love because Rated has got a beautiful, beautiful grenade knocked onto its face of Blade and does
Oh,
wipe him out. As Johnny, he's just proning in. He's looking, he's taking all the movements into consideration. But when is he gonna strike? That's going to be really important to see because T2K, they certainly aren't looking like they want to stop over here. They certainly are hungry for more kills, but they need to watch their nine. The moment they are kind of not paying attention to that, they might just get taken down, and that's might gonna be Johnny as his position has been compromised. But blah blah blah. Oh my goodness, he has been demolished over there as Johnny finally goes down.
I mean, he was just so scared, in that spot. And of course, striking when there are three players right in front of you dancing, then that's not really going to be a good choice to make. As we take a look at Uzum as well, he's in the back lines, and look at this man. Even he's so scared of D2K. He doesn't really want to peek. Even he is still so back. He's in the back lines, and his position hasn't really been compromised. Still, Uzum is really scared of the squad T2K, and we do know why they're scared because T2K is just out of this world. They are outstanding. But now it seems like High Voltage as well are going to be scouting out an area, and PES they are inside a fight. PES are going inside a fight. Now, PES, of course, one of the squads that isn't really doing great, but they are still on those steps of success. They're trying their best to get up top there, but maybe that's not going to be that easy as High Voltage is going to be challenging a fight against them, and they are getting compromised from all over the directions. This fight is so weird. Now, all these players are in those long range distance, and they are challenging a fight from such a long distance. Now, of course, it's going to be a lot much more tougher to get those knocks in, but this is going to be an interesting fight as accuracy is going to be the real winner.
Accuracy, positioning, timing, everything is going to be really important in this particular fight. But I know the boys from High Voltage. They're kind of a squad that does not take those unwanted engagements. But in this certain case, they did. This is a squad that loves to play the position game, and when it comes down to going aggressive, when it comes down to going ham after the squads, they do not shy away from that either. But now the boys from Regicide do know that exact direction from where they have some unfriendly fire on towards them. So now they're gonna position, they're gonna make their moves accordingly, and making sure that they get inside the zone safely. But what Aussie is really doing to counter it, he's changing his spot. He's going to a different direction, and he needs to also make a move inside the circle.
I mean, that will be a more kind of like deciding factor. Of course, if you're going to be taking those early game rotations inside the circle, then that is going to be helping you. Now, take a look at Aussie, what he's doing. He sent Cooney to actually scout and recon the area in front. So basically, he doesn't really want to get compromised even if Cooney gets into massive water trouble. So now that's some big brain play right there. If Cooney gets shot at, now they will, of course, know that there is a squad right in front of them, and they will probably be ready beforehand. But PES seems like they're going to be taking a late rotation inside circle as the zone wouldn't be doing that much of damage. It's just the third zone going in. They will probably be able to out heal it. So PES are taking their sweet little time looting and even making their way inside the zone as, of course, one of the teams are being really dominant, and Deadeyes this time taking a dig onto Ayush, which is going to be PN Crew. Now, PN Crew, one of the squads that I really want to step their gameplay up. I want to see them mow down squads as they do have a real destructive missile in their hands, which is going to be Killer YT and even Sean Sundays. We have seen this man in the past do so much, but this time they seem like they're just going to be backing off.
Yeah, they certainly. But look at Sunday. He is walking into his own grave over there as he
Oh
heads in
no.
onto the players of freestyle. And Deadeye is right on his tail. So he's sort of sandwiched in that particular spot. But now we've got to see as to how Deadeyes really take all these fights on. They've fought the boys from God's Reborn. Koa taking some heavy damage. But those
Ooh.
bullets really passing right by him. And, not really kind of delivering Suyog the way he would have wanted this fight to go for himself. But here we have R3D. Virus has been knocked out. We can see the boys from STALWARTxFLEX. They're in a really good spot. Their position has not been compromised. As like I was telling, if we sort of have an even shift, if we get to see that inside the circle, so that's gonna end up at Painan. And right from the very get-go, 7C, they dropped off at Painan and they haven't moved an inch.
Well, I mean, that's just going to be that luck massive factor favoring them. And of course, it's going to be Deadeyes again trying their best to contest their area inside Pinehead. But for now, Deadeyes are also in a massive water trouble as they're getting shot from the boys of High Voltage. How are they going to be able to compromise? Of course, High Voltage having that much more kind of like the high advantage, high ground advantage going inside this. And then we take a look at Freestyle, spotting the players of T2K. Jane taking a massive headshot in the process. Now just take a look at what Ali is doing. He's just an absolute laser beam with that QBU. He's beaming anyone down that is trying to peek him. And then blah, 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 barely surviving as well.
I mean, this is quite unusual, to be honest. I haven't really seen a lot of QBUs in my entire competitive casting career so far, because in Sanhok, players really kind of tend to ignore this weapon, and there are reasons justifying that. You know, one, of course, not really having the best of the mags. You need that extended quick draw on it, or the extended. You need those extra bit of attachments. It's a good gun, but you know, if Vegeta did have maybe an M4 over there, could have easily got a knock or two, because you know that sort of helps you, delivering that, but getting a shot right on his head. You know, you're not supposed to peek from the same angle multiple times, but here you have Deadeyes making a push onto the players of 7C.
Well, I mean, Deadeyes are more kind of trying to secure themselves for compound. It seems like they're going to be successful in doing that, at least for now. But there, of course, future plans would be to actually push 7C in their places. But 7C is one of the squads that you do not really want to push straight head on. You will have to put on an absolute well-planned strategy, and then only you will be able to take down a squad like 7C. And that's not going to be that easy, as Luffy is going to be spotting out blah, blah, blah. There's just so many shots being exchanged between each other, and both of them are actually dealing damage to each other, and all they're doing is just wasting their meds and bullets in this kind of situation, because they're not going to be able to get any kills. Even if they manage to get a knockdown, then the finish won't be there, because their res will be coming in through from their teammates. But for now, seems like 7C, Rig will be taken down from Deadeyes this time, and Rig will be back on his feet as Fear did managed to get the res in. And just take a look at Nemo. This guy is not scared. He is going to be pushing right next to Deadeyes, but Deadeyes being in the other house seems like they will still be safe kind of in their position. But Hungrybox making a bold rotation onto Seokser, going to be going on his side, and seems like that's going to be a little more safer for Hungrybox.
He actually really went in to get that revive on, but I believe Suyok was bleeding, and he just succumbed to his injuries over there. Could not do really much. Yeah, that was quite unfortunate. Yeah, but look at Joker. hey, look at Joker. He's making a move. Does Hungrybox spot him out? As we take a look elsewhere, we've got the boys from Freestyle. Finally, surviving so long. 20 minutes passed by. They're still alive. Not really having the best of the kills. But, coming back to the discussion that we were really having, that's quite very well put. You are getting those knocks. You're not getting those kills confirmed. You are, of course, exhausting those first aids, those meds of your opponents, right? And you're also destroying their armors and their helmets. So that sort of helps you out in the longer run, but you need to be really careful, because you're trading out bullets. In a competitive lobbies, certainly teams do not really like keeping a lot of ammo on their hand, right? They love to go for those crins. But now getting on to the fight in hand that we have, Venom getting a beautiful knock onto his assassin as the fight has finally been broken off, as he needs to back off. But Extreme going in for the rest, but before that he needs to drop that beautiful grenade, but that does not happen, as the other players of TUF have taken the charge and have managed to put him out for good.
As High Voltage are not really looking good in the position they have, but TUF are also getting compromised from T2K, and even R3D being in the nearby vicinity, they are going to be in a massive water trouble, as TUF don't really have a choice. If they decide to actually try and get inside the circle, they will have to expose their body, and when they do, they will just get compromised from all over the direction, as T2K, of course, going to be finding a kill on the GR Koa there. And what? Right. He's standing right in front of you! Tyron, take him down! What? Tyron was just staring right at him, and of course, finally, he will be spotting him, but he took so much damage. Tyron, you could have avoided that damage by taking him down way before.
What?
He was just staring at him. That was kind of questionable.
Was he confused? Did he confuse him for his own teammate? Because
Well, I
that's not
mean,
acceptable. In the kind of a lobby that you are in, if you look
mhm.
at your teammate like that, and if Killer had slight bit of an HP more, he would have easily taken Tyrant down. And that's not acceptable considering the lobby that you are in. Of course, we do understand the players of freestyle are under tremendous pressure, but that's not how you are supposed to be getting over with. But now, coming back to the game in hand, quite an interesting set of circle that we have
Mhm.
as T2K. Do have that compound, but they've got prying eyes right from up above. That's going to be R3D.
I mean, R3D is definitely going to be having that high ground advantage, but T2K overall having a real good position inside the circle, and we all do know what Raiders is capable of. If this man is alive in those late game situations, then T2K will certainly have that chicken in their hand as well, as Shaw has already found the opening on the blah 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 going down, and now this is going to be an unfortunate turn of events in the favor of T2K, as Shaw has went down to the circle. Now R3D will need to make the rotation inside the circle, as well as Edgar. Seems like he will just be on the edge of the zone. He will be a little safe as his teammate will be bleeding out to his death. And of course, it's going to be Shaw going down. Now, Jane didn't really spot him. Jane is just going to be walking right into his crosser. Maybe he will, but no, still, he's playing more kind of like the safe play. I like this. Jane is being real reasonable the way he's playing. He doesn't really want to expose his body that much, as blah, blah, blah is going to be on the doorway healing himself up.
Now, as things are panning out, Edgar
Oh,
did want to. Oh, he
he's
did see
exposing his
blah blah
body.
blah.
Yes,
He
he
did see
did.
blah blah blah, but he's
What is
not
going
taking
on? What
shots.
is
He's being
going on? Oh my
really
god.
patient. He's being
Car-
really patient, and there
yep.
you have Rated getting that beautiful knock onto its sphere. And now, after that, we've got to see as to how he proceeds with this fight. As Edgar finally, steps up to the occasion, gets that beautiful Gren knock, and I believe his position has still not yet been compromised.
Exactly. Now that's going to be happening. But for now, T2K are in a massive water trouble as they are under such a massive fire. T2K, blah, 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 getting knocked out. Of course, Edgar finding his right opportunity to strike, and he's going to be taking down blah, blah, blah in the process. But now, seems like 7C are going to be having such a massive advantage inside the fight. Edgar falling down. It's going to be Rick capitalizing onto it, and Nemo finally finishing the frag. But T2K don't really seem like they are going to be having any chance inside this fight, as it's going to be 7C completely dominating the late circle and taking the entire situation in their hands.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god. What just happened? I mean, this is not how the cookie was supposed to crumble, right?
Yep.
For T2K, they had such a good control, they had such a good compound, but I believe they had too much on their plate. And 7C, of course, being there in Painan right from the very get-go, and sort of holding themselves off, and they were really smart with the way they wanted to rotate. And there were a lot of minimalistic movements that I really loved from these players, and it was fair. I mean, his name itself, speaks for how much scared the opponents are when they see him on the kill board. And there you go, 5 kills coming out from this lad. Beautiful 11 kills chicken dinner. But T2K, they kind of sort of messed it up because they were kind of oblivious about the positioning of Edgar, who I must say replayed phenomenally well. 5 kills for this man, and towards the end, he was kind of sneaky with the way he was just lobbing those beautiful grenades on and off. And T2K, they were kind of caught in the fire. They were in the center. You've
Mm-hmm.
got the players of 7C, you've got the players of R3D, so many teams, and they could not do much, but still a really promising performance from these lads. But I guess I must say, the Bangladeshi teams have really stood up to the occasion today. And now let's take a look at the match ranking and find for ourselves as to how these teams performed in terms of the points.
Well, I mean, we did see overall 7C stepping up this time, and of course, they're going to be securing those 26 frags for themselves with placement points of 15 and 11 kills. Now, those stats are massive, and we actually wanted to see 7C step up their gameplay, and this time it seems like 7C are going to be doing that. And then R3, of course, how can we forget what Edgar did? He made things so much more harder for Train to kill than it should have initially, and to be honest, the reason why 7C actually had such an easy chance winning, it's probably because of Edgar. He actually completely mowed down Train to kill from backlines, and then 7C, all they had to do was just take the third party and finish the game.
Yeah, they certainly had to do that. But as we move along further, a few of the teams could not really have a good outing today. And from that, of course, will be INES. And I do not know how they got eliminated so early because Blood Legion was the first squad I did see, being wiped out. So,
Hmm.
yeah, Blood Legion off to a good start, getting that first kill, but they were kind of annihilated by the boys from NFPxSky, who further on did not really have a good game either. So, teams, I'm pretty sure, all the viewers do understand this factor. The teams are really good in terms of the engagement, the way they take the fights, their aim, their raw potential. But what these teams are really struggling with is their rotations. The
Hmm.
possession points is something that is missing out for all these big names. And again, the misery for Venom Legends sort of continues, as they're trying every single thing that they possibly can. And they haven't really attained success.
Exactly. I mean, Venom Legends are trying their best. Now, we cannot be taking that away from them. They're trying their best, but still, it's just more kind of like these scrims are getting way too out of hands because each and every single team wants to secure those kills, and they're just being so aggressive that Venom Legends isn't really able to, more kind of like know the temperature of the game, and they're just somewhere down line. They're lacking with their rotation, as you did mention, and they are getting caught off guard with their even initial spawn points, or either they're getting caught off guard while they're rotating.
you know we did see them taking that boat over there. They did
Hmm.
land off, they did take one kill over there. I think that was Void who did that, but apart from
Hmm.
that, nothing much. But hey, we have the kill leaders, and Red Esports, I mean, he's come up with 6 kills. I mean, I believe
Yo.
we did see 5. So, a sort of miscommunication here and there. And now, moving on, we've got Fear with 5 kills, and Suyog and Turula with 4 and 3 respectively. So, now, ladies and gentlemen, now the way R3D have played this one, they certainly have made sure that they are prepared for Sanhok, right? They've been getting those position points, they've been getting those kill points. So, kind of a very good improvement coming in from the last time. But now let's take a look at the overall rankings and see for ourselves as to how these teams stand off after the final game of the evening. Of course, STALWARTxFLEX being the leaders.
I mean, incredible plays from StarLordFlex as well, as we did see them in the last game do so good. And I mean, last game. But for now, Train to Kill, of course, did manage to secure that, a real good position in the previous game, but was taken down easily by 7C. But now take a look at 7C, a massive leap from these lads, and R3D as well. Now, these guys are looking good in the initial positions that they are, but certainly keeping those position racked up, keeping those position frozen for themselves, that's going to be more kind of like a deciding factor. That's going to be more kind of like a tough thing to actually move on and do.
Yeah, I mean that is definitely gonna be there. But Train to Kill, I really liked the way they kind of picked themselves up today. Getting that second spot. So the first week we did see the Pakistani teams really dominate, and today with the way things have panned out, it's the Bangladeshi teams that have really impressed me so far. And the Nepali teams, they're doing well in terms of consistency. They're there, but in PMPL, it's not that consistency factor that really will account for. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But what will really matter is the glory. Imagine getting that chicken dinner with, let's say, 15 kills, and the crowd, your fans, everyone cheering out for you. So that's the feeling that every player loves to cherish. But as we move along further, so Venom Legends, I'm done. I ain't got
Yeah.
anything else to say.
Oh no, you're not going to be rooting for them anymore. That's actually kind of
No, no,
not
no.
really good to hear.
So it's not about me not rooting for them. It's about the kind of expectation that they have built up,
Yeah,
in their
understandable.
PMPL, in their past
Hmm.
performances. To see them in the tip, like down below, like at the bottom of the sea, that's not where this team is supposed to be. Did
Yep,
it just rhyme?
yep, exactly. I mean, it did kind of, but not really much more. But again, Venom
Yeah.
Legends, they don't really deserve to be in the bottom, as you did mention. And same goes with, again, most of the teams that are still down there. And I really feel like a lot of teams that are down there, they do deserve those higher spots. But for
Exactly.
some reason, they're not really able to step up their gameplays over here. But maybe, again, as we can still keep on talking about this thing being, they are maybe just testing their strats out, and maybe they just want to have overall a better, overall strategic advantages overall in the future as well. Now, of course, testing your
Yeah.
strats will be good only if you have some strats planned with your homework.
A lot of things might just be on speculation, right? And they've got those few roster shuffles here and there. They're trying to adjust to the tempo of the PMPL this time around because we have a lot of new teams. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally done with all our games of the evening. We will be heading off today and we'll be meeting you tomorrow with new set of matches. So till then, take care. Bye bye. See you all.
Let's get it.